Drawing is the honesty of the art. There's no possibility of cheating. It is either good or bad. I am Supernal, and this is Artist Spotlight. The artist I'm going to talk about today goes by the name of Somaritan, or Georgy Arutanov from Georgia. How about that? Not the Georgia in America, the Georgia over in Europe near Russia, which I think it used to be part of Russia. I don't know the history of it. I just know that people there sound Russian-ish, Slavic. That might be the better word to use, but don't kill me on it, man. I just know it's kind of over there, right? And shit, they've got an awesome-ass artist. This dude is the fucking tits. This guy, his style is maniacal. I don't know how he does it. Well, we're going to try and figure that out here, alright? This first piece to jump into this is the monster. Now, if this doesn't seem like some sort of allegorical type of artwork you'd see in Rome, then fuck, I don't know. I don't know where your head's at, but that's where my head's at. This is, I'm getting like a serious Beowulf, like epic poetry kind of thing, right? But the first thing to really talk about is the focus of his style, which takes a little bit of time to analyze because it's kind of, each artist's style, their aesthetic, what they focus on, what really creates that, is it, part of it is their usage of the technical skills. That's actually a lot of it, that's most of it, that's pretty much all of it. And for this guy, his brushwork is immense. And just the fact that there probably isn't a single static geometric line in this whole fucking thing. I mean, there's just constant waves, constant curves. And I mean, if you look at the sort of frothy seafoam that's on the right-hand side, right? You can see the line, right? There is some line in there, what appears to be line, defining sort of darkness, the light for that lightness bringing about, and then the color and gradation of it giving that depth. And it's just this wild spray, which is actually fairly different from the left side, and there's this good variation. You got the middle, which I don't know if that was intentional. It could just be the lighting. If this was him like taking a camera shot of his painting, that might actually kind of mess with how some of this looks, because it kind of flattens out. You can see a little more of some of the brushwork there, but the brushwork is fantastic, and just the way all of these curves and forms are intricately just layered in, it's crazy. And the fantasy element of it is just awesome. I love it so much. If I definitely have some money to save up to buy a piece of print from this dude, I'm definitely doing it. And it'll probably be one of the ones I'm going to show you here in a moment, but this piece here really edifies, solidifies this guy's style, and just the way that he works it out. Every piece is going to look very similar to this. So let us jump back a little bit to this next one. This is titled Endless Dream. Now this is really quite a bit of a jump. The last piece was a little more toned down a bit, gives you an idea of kind of his flow and everything. But this is just like, dude, give me some of what you're taking there, sir. Do you have a doctor that gives you something? I'd like that. I mean, there's just so much layered. Now, obviously, so what makes his particular thing unique? Well, you've got these familiarity. He's got that good familiarity. Spot on, sir. You got it. It draws you in, okay? You see this face here, picture in picture, right? Gives you an idea of some Dali-esque kind of soft surrealism. But if you look at it, this is just a masterful understanding of the layering technique. adding on bit by bit, understanding how to define this little piece, and then, oh, let's add this little piece on top, and then that little piece on top. This spot here, that spot there, having a wholly different color that, is still close enough to what the general hue for most of it is. A lot of fairly muted colors, reds, all the variations of that, but you got highlights on top of highlights, and the darks and the shading. It's very conscious of the three-dimensionality. So that, played in, man, that's just a lot of work. That's a lot of focus and a lot of intentional aspect to it. And just the merging of all these forms. It's great. But then you have quite a bit of symbolism in this. The head here, so let's try to identify this. Let me see if I can do it. You got the face. Okay, an individual's face. It's in the front, sort of breaking apart. It's in the second half of the piece. We're going to use the rule of thirds. Use the rule of thirds. It's kind of going on that a little bit. If you want to slap on some math and kind of add some of the sacred geometry to it, I maybe will overlay that here, and you'll be able to see it. I'm not doing that in real time. That's how I do this. I do this stuff in real time. So you might get a little bit of that there. I'm not exactly getting too much of a vibe of it, but hey, Somaritan, if you are using any sacred geometry in the creation of your work, that might be why it's pretty good, and keep doing that, sir. Keep fucking going with it. But there definitely is some symbolism, which is not quite obvious. It could just be him having fun with the forms and breaking off the piece into picture within picture, because when you look up, okay, where his brow is, where his forehead is, now you have this landscape, which is neatly and nicely framed by the parts going up on the left, parts going to the right. You got this DNA thing going up. You got these other sort of images, just all these forms just going up, right? It's not explicit enough to where you can tell that, hey, that's a particular thing that has a noun or a pronoun associated to it within the human context, but within the supernal context, the context of as above, so below, it's just a form. It's a particular thing, right? But then you're getting what looks kind of like, a scene of these three planets, and you got some mountains and this sort of dune setup, right? What intentional aspect does that have? Not much. Could just be, is that where his head's at? Is that just a picture-to-picture? You can infer quite a few things, but that breaks the piece apart. That's part of what the picture-in-picture can do. It breaks the piece apart, the composition apart, into these multiple compositions, which then now you have this synergy, this work in between what almost seems like these multiple artworks in and of themselves, right? And they can play on each other. So that is a whole other element, a whole other technique that is balls deep hard to pull off. And kudos for him trying it, and I think he does it very well. Because then, let's go down, right? Go below the chin and the neck. His whole head is like shooting out of what you've got kind of a cone shape. It's almost like it's a fountain of some kind that he's kind of burgeoning out, and then it solidifies. There's some ground that it's on. And now you're getting perspective here a bit, right? Really fucks with your perspective, too. It makes the mind just kind of reel a bit. There's a lot to process in one piece. And I love the sort of geometrical aspect to it at the bottom. That's great. It does share, it echoes a bit to the cubist. There's some cubism, a little bit, just a very small amount, some sort of 1950s modish cubist kind of echoes there, right? Some pop art kind of shit. I'm definitely getting that feel, which I like. It does break up a little bit of the insanity of the top. You get this very clear-cut geometrical objects, which are also very much in the front, too, right? into there very bright. That pyramid, very bright. Wherever you look elsewhere, your eye is going to be kind of partly seeing that pyramid. And man, I just want to keep looking at this thing. It's so good, dude. This is just fantastic. And not often do I come across artwork that is just blows your mind. And here's another one. I mean, very similar physique. Physique? That's not the right word at all. Similar in terms of just this immense proportion. Completely using the whole canvas. Here you go. Great usage of that technical skill. Use the whole goddamn canvas, please. Thank you, sir. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, it's not always completely necessary. It depends on the intention. And if it works without it having all the canvas filled, there you go. It works. But this dude doesn't. And part of his thing is to fill the whole canvas. That could be part of your thing. Fill that whole fucker. But this, you definitely have a lot more of these converging forms. I'm definitely getting some torus flow out of that, where her right hand is. Torus flow as the objects are combining. There's definitely some good symmetry and sacred geometry going on here. And just this figure, this kind of goddess, I'm getting kind of an Indian kind of god vibe from it. So the aspect that's around her and the flowing of everything. Man, and then just what appears to be like the background, right? These swirls that just keep going and going and going. She's standing on part of it, so that gives it, again, some ground. And messes with your perspective, because what appears to just be the background, she's holding on this sphere, which there's other spheres that could be the background, and standing on what looks like the background. So, again, look at this guy, at his artwork, and if this is something that you want to try to do, which is honestly a little bit up my alley personally, this is a great example of how to do it. You've got this insane background that looks flat and is fairly flat, but then the three-dimensional object, character, creature, person, whatever it is then interacting with it, so that then pulls that piece forward and makes it three-dimensional. And with this last one, which is titled Sarnado, the other one with the woman was named Promethea. Sarnado, this one, this is kind of a nice fun piece. I really dig this. Getting a little more, getting out of the bottom. This dude definitely, I feel like he studied some cubism. I'm getting some cubist feel with that bottom part. Just that interplay of just the color and the forms overlaid each other is just nuts. And the whole style of it, just all of this definition of the layers in it, it's consistent. And the harmony of all of it, this is a great display of consistency, of proportion, not just in proportion of the familiar human forms, but a proportion within the line and form that makes up everything is proportionate with each other, predominantly, depending on any kind of perspective. But he doesn't go much outside of using bigger strokes and real thin lines or anything. It's all very much similar strokes. Some that are a little smaller, a little bit bigger, but doesn't get too crazy, too big, right? There's not a lot of just blanket spots that don't have anything in it. There's always some variation of color and hue that's going on here, man. It's crazy. It just it pulls you in and just keeps you just looking at it, staring at it, and just as someone who, and then, fuck, dude, just this is how art should be done, honestly. I mean, if you really want to take it all the way and push it to the nines, this is how you do it. This is just the best, a great, great example that anyone could give, and that I really hope you all take a very good close look at. As just how you fucking make it work, man. Hey, that's another video. Appreciate all of you again for spending your time, whether you're driving home from work, you just got home from work, or you just fucking woke up and it's your day off and you're like, I'm gonna listen to this shit. I appreciate it. But give your appreciation to this guy, Somaritan. He fucking deserves it. This dude is goddamn stellar. Give him a piece of your mind. Give him some critique. But, hey, if he's got some art to sell, buy it. Fucking buy it. Patreon you can support. Whatever. Dude fucking deserves it. Great goddamn artist. And if there's other artists who you feel maybe are of this guy's caliber that you want me to give some light upon, just like our man Solaire praised that fucking son, let me know. Make a comment. Hit me up on the social medias, and that'll fucking do her. I will see you all next time.